board. Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started today. And I know this looks familiar to you all. My favorite, figurative language. Now, what I did this week, we're going to combine figurative language, of course, with a little bit of poetry. So it's going to be a mixture of both. And the exciting thing that I'm going to do this week is look at some poetry from my favorite author. And I know Emma's excited because they call me Miss Hughes. My favorite author is Langston Hughes. So I'm going to start with, I just want to go over a brief anchor chart for figurative language. Now, when I think of all of the figurative language that you can use to enhance your reading and enhance poetry, I think of the idiom, I shampoo. You know I love using idioms to remember things. So I shampoo. I stands for two. An idiom, not idiom, but the acronym I shampoo, the acronym. So the I, two I's, idiom and imagery. Idiom is when you say one thing, but you really mean another, like it's raining cats and dogs. Imagery is when you use a lot of adjectives to describe something, like the wet green grass. So you just give something a little more description so you can visually picture it in your head. Similarly, you compare two things using like or as. Zion is fast as a cheetah. I bet you like that, don't you, Zion? Zion is fast as a cheetah. Alliteration, they're like tongue twisters, but it's repetition of letters. Peter picked a pail of peppers. Metaphor, when you compare, but you use is or was. You don't usually use as or like, but you use the words is or was. So my desk is a pig pen, or my room right now is a pig pen. Personification is one of my favorites. You give an object human qualities. The curtains were dancing when the wind was blowing. And then onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia are sounding words like boom, crash, and then oxymorons, when you use opposite words together for emphasis. We have a love-hate relationship. The end of this year is bittersweet. I'm glad that you guys get to go to the middle school, and that's sweet, but it's bitter of how we had to end the year. So I shampoo. All right, now I want to share my screen. Let me add some students. Admit them all. Very good. Now I would like to share my screen and actually go to a flip chart that I actually have. Well, I don't think you guys were able to see it. Let's try one more time. No. It didn't work. Hold on, guys. Let me try one more time, okay? There we go. Do you guys see it? Miss Saunders, do you see it?
I can see it.
Okay. How are you, Miss Todman? Thank you.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Now, I wanted to go over just a couple of slides in poetry, the difference between poetry and prose. Now, we know that prose is there's no line breaks, the sentences run on the margin from like right to left. The first word in the sentence is usually capitalized, and it's just large blocks of words. Prose is what we're used to reading, okay? We're used to reading prose, but with poetry uses line breaks for various reasons. So it just depends on what style the poem is. The lines can be short, they can be long, they can even be one word or more. Traditionally, the first letter can be capitalized or it cannot be capitalized. Also, you don't really have the grammatic strictness of prose. So you can use punctuation, you cannot use punctuation. It just depends on the style of poem that you're writing. And the shape of the poetry can vary depending on the line length and the intent of the poem, okay? So this is review. We've looked at the difference between poetry and prose, and also figurative language, words that are used that they have a figurative meaning, not the literal meaning as to what you're reading. Now, we looked at that again with my chart for figurative language. Similes, we compare two things using like or as. The room is as hot as an oven. So I'm comparing the room to an oven. Also, hyperbole. Hyperboles, one of my favorite. Oh, I skipped that when I was reading my chart. Guys, I apologize. It's a huge exaggeration. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. Now, can you really eat a horse? That's an exaggeration. That just means you're really, really hungry. Personification, when you give human qualities to an object. So the tree danced in the wind. So I'm saying that the tree is dancing. Who dance? People dance. But you're giving that tree human qualities. And onomatopoeia, they're sounding words. Boom, pop, fizz. And alliterations are really fun to say. They're like tongue twisters, but it's the repetition of beginning sounding words. So 7 snakes slithered slyly. Oh, I had to concentrate saying that one. And then the metaphors, you compare two things, but you use the word is or was and to compare that thing. So the room is an oven. See, it's just like this simile up here, but I use the word as for the simile, but I just said it is. So I'm comparing the room to an oven, but just saying it is an oven. And this is also just some more examples here. The wild and woolly walrus, I can't even say that, waits and wonders when we'll walk by. See that repetition of that letter W. Also, assonance, it's the repetition of vowel sounds. That's something that we haven't looked at. Fleet, feet, sweet by sleeping geese. So that's the repetition of that vowel sound. Hyperbole, mile high ice cream cone. That's just a really high ice cream cone. We know it's not a mile high, but it's just really, really big. An idiom, just an exaggeration. Hold your horses, I'm coming. So when you say one thing, but you really mean another, she sings to the top of her lungs. So it's just saying one thing, but meaning another. Her hair was silk. Here I'm comparing two things, but I'm using was and buzz, hiss, roar, wolf. Those are onomatopoeias. And personification, the stuffed bear smiled as the little boy hugged him close. Now, can a stuffed bear really smile? No, but humans smile. And then the sun is like a yellow ball of fire in the sky. So the sun is like a yellow ball in the fire. I'm comparing the sun to the yellow ball in the fire in the sky, but you're using like, or you could have used as there. Now, when we're looking at poetry, is certain things that you also have to think about. You could have rhyme. If it's not a free verse, which it doesn't rhyme at all, you can have rhyme and rhyme scheme. Rhyme and rhyme scheme, they're words. They are words that rhyme when they have the same sound. Poems often use rhyme at the end of lines. And the rhyme scheme is just the pattern that those rhyming words actually make. Hey, Miss Housework. And then poets use rhyme to add just a musical sound to their poem. So it just kind of makes it fun to read when you're looking at rhyme and when you're looking at rhyme scheme. So 10 whole minutes till the bus, scads of time. What's the fuss? 2 to dress, 1 to flush, 2 to eat, 1 to brush. That leaves 4 to catch the bus. Scads of time, what's the fuss? So you look at the ending words and you'll look at the pattern that those rhyming words make. So that's rhyme and rhyme scheme. Now, all poems don't have rhyme or rhyme scheme, but a majority of them do, and it just makes them fun to read. Here, also mood. Mood is the actual mood or the feeling or emotion that you get as you are reading the poem. Sometimes it could be an upbeat mood, it could be a happy mood, or it could be a sad mood. How does the poem make you feel? Okay. Now, tone is the author's attitude that he is trying to portray to the reader as they're reading. Now, sometimes while the mood is the feeling that a poem creates in a reader, the tone is the writer's attitude toward the subject or the audience. So you got to look for clues in that language. So it's very distinct in the tone because you will see words that actually portray what the author wants you to feel about it. So you got to look for clues in the language that the writer used to identify the writer, how the writer feels about the subject. So you have mood, which is your feeling or your emotion, but then you have tone, which is the author's attitude. And theme. Theme of a poem is central or main idea. To identify a poem's theme, you got to ask yourself, what ideas or insights about life or human nature you have found in the poem? So when you think about theme, you want to think about theme being the big picture. What life lesson is this poem trying to teach you? What can you grasp about life? And that's the theme from reading this poem. So when we think of poetry, we think of course, how it's written, any figurative language that can enhance the meaning. We think of the mood. What is your feeling from it? We think of the tone. What is the author, what language is the author using to portray how he or she wants you to feel about the poem? Also, you look at theme. What life lesson are you learning from this poem? But is there any rhyme? Is there a rhyming pattern? So is it fun to read or is it more serious? Okay, so now we're going to jump right into some poetry. So our lesson is not going to be that long today. I'm going to stop this share and then I'll come back to it. Are there any questions, teachers, so far? Are there any questions, teachers?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Hey, Jessica.
Oh, ma'am.
What about you, Miss Houseworth?
No, I have no questions right now.
Okay, now the last little bit, what I would like to get into, guys, I pulled some poetry that focused on our last topic that we did for social studies. So I'm really excited because it's one of my favorite poets, and I could not end the year without sharing just a little bit of my heart with you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and share. Emma, are you there, Emma?
Yes.
Emma, who is it, some of these poems? Who are these poems?
Langston Hughes.
Of course, Langston Hughes. Okay, so we're going to share some of my favorite poems from Langston Hughes. And I forgot, I've already packed up my tissues, Emma, because you know when I read Langston Hughes, I get a bit emotional, don't I? Okay. Okay, so the first one. So I'm going to read the first one. And we're going to discuss some figurative language, the mood, the tone, the theme. Okay, are we ready? Emma, you ready? Okay, merry-go-round. Where is the Jim Crow section on this merry-go-round? Mister, 'cause I want to ride. Down south where I come from, white and colored, they can't sit side by side. Down south on the train, there's a Jim Crow car. On the bus, we're put in the back. But there ain't no back to a merry-go-round. Where's the horse for a kid that's black? I wish I had a microphone because I'd drop it right now. And then you drop the mic. So, okay. Now, I would like to, Emma, can you unmute your device for me?
Yes.
Let's talk a bit. Emma, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, now, Emma, first of all, I want to talk about rhyme scheme. Do you see any rhyme scheme or rhyming pattern? Let's look at the ends of the line. Section, round, ride, from, colored, side, train, car. Is there any pattern here? Back, round, horse, black. In this first stanza, are there any rhyming patterns?
No.
No. Okay, well, let's look at the second one. You're right. That one is pretty much in a free verse. Please don't write on my PowerPoint. Thank you. I meant my flip chart. Here, back, back, round, horse, black. What do you think? Is there a pattern there, Emma?
No.
Well, those two words, back, back, round, horse, black. What do you think?
Yes.
Yes. So I could give this letter, the word here, black, what letter?
A.
A. And back again, I would give it what?
A.
A. Round, I would give it what? Would I give it A, like back and back?
Yes.
So you think I would give round the same letter as back?
No.
No, it would be a different letter. What's next after the letter A, Emma?
B.
B. And what about horse? Does horse rhyme with anything?
No.
No, so I was A, B. So what would that letter be?
C.
C, but black would rhyme with what?
Back.
Back. Okay, good job, Emma. So just for that second stanza, A, B, C, A. So that's rhyme scheme. Did you see any figurative language in here, Emma? What do you think?
Alliteration. Merry-go-round.
Okay. Where is the alliteration at?
Merry-go-round was repeating.
Yes, he did repeat the word. He also repeated the word Jim Crow a bit. Merry-go-round. Where was it repeated again? Oh, here again, merry-go-round. Okay, do you notice anything else as far as figurative language?
No.
No, I really didn't, but you know what I did think of here? The mood. How did this poem make you feel, Emma? What do you think? How did you have a feeling after reading this poem?
Kind of like sad.
Why sad?
Because like people were like treating whites better than blacks.
Yes, very good, Emma, because this poem is talking about, first you got to think, what is this poem saying? It's talking about the Jim Crow, right? Remember during the civil rights? What do we know about Jim Crow, Emma? During that what was the Jim Crow practices? What do we know? Jim Crow, it made it legal for everything to be what? Segregated, yes, it was separate. And if African Americans or blacks, if they went in a section that was white only, they could have been what, Emma?
Arrested.
They could have been arrested. So in other words, Emma, and what do we know about a merry-go-round? A merry-go-round, does it have a front and a back?
No.
No, it's just round, right? So in other words, where is the horse for the kid that's black? Because remember, on a bus, where did the black people have to sit, Emma?
In the back.
In the back. So you said the mood made you feel sad. What do you think the author's attitude is? Do you think the author's attitude was happy, go lucky, upbeat, or was it serious?
Serious.
Yes, it was very serious because they knew that it was wrong, that the Jim Crow practices, they were wrong. Very good. And Emma, one last thing. What life lesson can you learn from this poem? What life lesson?
Like you have to treat everybody equally and like everybody deserves to be treated nicely.
Very good and fairly, and that the Jim Crow practices that were allowed back then, they were not fair. Good job, Emma. Kiss your brain. Kiss your brain, Emma. I didn't see you kiss your brain. I'm looking at you. Thank you, Emma. All right, next one. Miss Houseworth, can you see this one? Are you able to read this one for me? Can you see it? If not, I'll ask Miss Saunders to read it for me before she gets off the computer.
Yes, Jessica and I can read it.
Okay. Okay, now this one is entitled Ruby Showed the Way. Okay, go ahead, Miss Houseworth.
Ruby Bridges was only 6. People tried to hit her with sticks. Hateful words at her throne. Hate to all with her skin tone. She went to school on her own. The kids all left. She was alone. She wants to learn everything in life, but she goes to school with strife. Ruby was brave and learned at school with just one teacher who was cool. Her teacher smiles, Ruby sees her fear and uncertainty. Ruby does her best to stand tall and not let fear make her fall. Ignoring hate coming from the crowd, Ruby makes her country proud. In fear and ignorance, people stayed until Ruby showed the way. Be respectful and do what's right, and then peace will be in sight.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Miss Houseworth. Thank you. Now, who wants to discuss this one with me? I kind of called Emma out last time because Emma and I had this thing going on about, she called me Miss Hughes, and I totally understood why. But does anyone else want to chime in here and help me to identify some things? Do you see any hands up? Anyone? Anyone? Quinn, are you there? Quinn?
Yes.
Are you ready? Can you help me?
Yes.
I knew you would. Thank you, Quinn. Okay, so now I'm not going to go over all of these stanzas. First of all, Quinn, how many stanzas are in this poem?
5.
Very good. So we're going to just do the rhyme scheme of the first stanza. Is that okay, Quinn?
Yes.
Okay, look at the first stanza. Let's look at the last word. 6, 6, throne, tone. What rhyme scheme would that be? Remember, you have to give every word a letter, and it makes a pattern. Oh, I'm sorry. Did y'all hear that? Someone hit my window. They're doing some work outside, and it scared me. I'm sorry, Quinn. Okay, go ahead, Quinn. What do you think?
A-A-B-B.
Very good, Quinn. A-A-B-B. And the whole poem is very easy. This rhyme scheme is easy breezy. But we're going to go in, dig a little deeper. And let's see, can we find some figurative language? Ooh, Quinn, what do you think about here? Hateful words at her were thrown. Saying they were throwing hateful words at her. What type of figurative language is that?
Maybe,
Throwing hateful words. Who can throw things?
humans.
Humans. So that could be what?
Personification.
Very good. That could be personification, throwing hateful words at someone. Very good. Or it could even be a hyperbole, exaggeration. Let's see, can we find any more figurative language? Can you find any more? And then we'll move on. Let's go here to this 1, 2, 3, the fourth stanza. Quinn, Ruby does her best to stand tall and not let fear make her fall. What do you think that is?
Like, maybe a metaphor. Maybe a metaphor or an idiom.
Ooh, I like that idiom. Yes, because can fear make you fall?
No.
No, but that's just saying what? That's saying one thing, but it really means what?
Another thing.
But what does it mean, Quinn?
Like, don't let fear scare her. maybe.
Yes, scare her from being the best that she could be. Remember, she had to ignore all of those people in that crowd yelling at her and not wanting her to go into the school. Good job, Quinn. Okay, now, what did you feel, Quinn, when you read this? What did you feel?
I kind of felt like um happy and proud because she had to be happy and brave and bold to get through her school days.
Very good. So yes, you felt happy, you felt proud. Very good. Because Ruby Bridges had to stand up and beat all of the odds that were against her. Very good. Now, what about the tone? What do you think the author, what attitude did the author want you to have while reading this? What do you think his tone was?
Maybe like happy.
Okay, yes, of course, happy, because all of these things he was putting in here that Ruby had to persevere, right? She had to keep pushing forward words. Ruby was what? Brave. Yeah, she learned at school she was brave. She did her best to stand tall. Ruby showed the way, and look at the end, be respectful and do what is right, and then peace will be in sight. So yes, happy, but he also wanted, I think that he was also having the attitude of showing pride and being proud of your skin color. And so that if Ruby Bridges can stand tall and proud, then so can you. I love it. Now, what do you think the theme of this, or what life lesson did you learn from this poem, Quinn? What life lesson?
Like you don't have to you have to be brave and bold to get through the day, kind of.
Yes, and you have to be brave and bold to get through the very difficult, hard things, don't you, Quinn?
Yes.
Sometimes when life, when life gives you lemons, you have to make lemonade out of it, right?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. This was one of my favorite poems. And I have one more poem that I would like to read, and I want to know who wants to analyze it with me. Let's see. Anyone? Anyone got their hand up that I can see? If you want to do it, just yell out at me because I don't see it. The screen is black. Anyone? What about you, EJ?
Yes, so.
Oh, thank you, EJ, for being a real trooper. Last one, and this is it, guys. Okay, last one of my favorites. Miss Todman. I think Miss Saunders is gone.
I'm here.
Okay, Miss Todman, can you see this? Would you like to read it?
I can.
Okay, it's one of my favorite poems, Miss Todman. I know I'm
Okay.
Go ahead, Miss Todman.
I too sing American. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and I eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am American.
Wow.
I'm America, sorry.
Okay. Wow. Thank you, Miss Todman. And Emma, you know this is one of my favorite poems. This one is by Langston Hughes.
I love it.
I know. So thank you so much, Miss Todman. Now, EJ, now I'm gonna just help you with this one a little bit. Now you see here, how many stanzas do I have, EJ?
3.
Okay, 3 stanzas, and then that line, and that's the point, the title of the poem. Okay, now I know that when you look at the end of the words, end of the lines, are there any words that rhyme?
No.
At the end? No. So this one is a free verse, okay? And even here, remember it said poetry, the lines can even be just one word. So yes, and it can be. Look, then tomorrow, okay? Now this whole entire poem is full of figurative language. I'm the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. Now, but I laugh, I eat well, and I grow strong. Now, that whole stanza there is not actually, that's an idiom. It's not actually talking about someone actually going to the kitchen. It's just saying that Black people and white people were not treated what, EJ?
Equally.
Equally. Very good. So they're going to send me to the kitchen to eat when company comes, but I laugh, I eat well, and I grow strong. And so they're not treated equally. So although things were not treated, they weren't treated equally. Although they were not treated equally, we know for a fact that they were still, the African Americans or Blacks were still working hard to persevere and to push forward, to get stronger. That's what that is, okay? To get stronger, to get better, to get their minds in the right place so they can come out of segregation, okay? So here, tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes and nobody dare say to me, eat in the kitchen in. So when the Civil Rights Movement, when all of these laws come in, when the Civil Rights Act, when the Voting Rights Act, when we have fought for equal justice and the end of segregation to actually be integrated, guess what? You won't dare say to me to go away. I'm here, I'm gonna have to be integrated. This is gonna have to work. You're gonna have to learn how to be able to allow African Americans equal rights and justice. Okay. And then not just that, not are you just going to be allowed to do it, but you'll see how beautiful I am. In other words, you'll be ashamed at how you have treated me in the past, how African Americans were treated so unfairly in the past. Okay. So this poem, to me, the whole poem is an idiom. The whole poem is figurative language because it's saying one thing, but it's truly meaning another. So we know the mood. How do you think that, how do you think, EJ, how do you feel after reading this?
Like strong.
Yeah. Oh, so you feel strong. So you feel like this poem, reading this, gave you power?
Yeah, because he had been discriminated and segregated, but he still had hope that he would eat in the kitchen and he would still, nobody would dare say him to leave or he'd stand up proud.
Oh, good job, EJ. So we know that it's not just eating in the kitchen, but just even in life. You know, I won't be discriminated anymore on the bus. I won't be discriminated anymore on my job. So you could try to do it, but it's against the law now. And you cannot do it in this equality for all. So kiss your brain, EJ. Good job. Now, the tone here, the author Langston Hughes using all of this figurative language, his attitude, we know, is he wants justice. He wants justice. Think about it. He know it's not right in that first stanza, but guess what? It's gonna be a change through that civil rights movement. We're gonna get equality. And then here, not only are we gonna get equality, but you're gonna be ashamed at how you treated me so far. Not just me, but my entire race. And I love that. Now, what lesson about life can you learn from this poem? EJ, what lesson about life?
That if you're being pushed down, you should have hope and keep fighting for like what you want.
Yes, good job, EJ. Kiss your brain. Yay! Now, you know what? My life is so much better that I've read those 3 poems. So we're gonna just go over my anchor chart one more time, just because my anchor chart is just focused on, when we look at poetry, you have stanzas. We know it's full of stanzas, but you look at the rhyme scheme, the patterns. You also look at the tone, that's the author's words or the attitude the author has to portray. You also look at the mood. How do these words make you feel? And then the theme, the big picture. In figurative language, I looked at an acronym for figurative language, which is I, shampoo, I, the I, idiom and imagery. We know that idioms, when you say one thing and mean another, it's raining cats and dogs. In imagery, you use adjectives to describe things like the wet green grass. And then simile, you compare 2 things using like grass. Zion is fast as a cheetah. and hyperbole, exaggerations. I ate a million pancakes. Now, can you eat a million? No, because you would be sick, sick, sick. But it just means you ate a lot. And alliteration, like tongue twisters, repetition of letters. Peter picked a pillow of peppers. Metaphor, you compare two things, but you use is or was here. My desk is a pig pen, or the room is a mess. And personification, you give an object human qualities. The curtains were dancing in the wind. Onomatopoeia, sounding words, boom and crash. And oxymorons, you give you put two opposite words together. It's bittersweet that I'm in this building and you guys aren't with me. It's bitter because I know that this year is slowly coming to an end. But it's sweet because you guys get to go to your next level in life, which is the middle school. Are there any questions? Teachers?